In this week's episode of Naruto History, we're going to be covering the Uzumaki clan massacre. I feel like I shouldn't have said the massacre part with a smile, but it's too late now. The reason I really want to cover this topic is because it's one of the most hotly talked about, debated, and misunderstood events in all of Naruto history. And it's not really the fans' faults. Just how like it's not really your fault you haven't already liked this video, subscribe to the page, and hit that noti bell because, hey, listen, this might be your first video. If it's not your first video, it is your fault. Come on, what are you doing? So the major things we're going to be covering about the Uzumaki clan massacre are essentially why it happened, how it happened, and what it means for the show. But before we cover how they disappeared, let's cover what they did while they were around. The Uzumaki clan, a lot like the Senju, were descendants of Hashirama, which means that the Senju and the Uzumaki were very closely related, which makes what happens next a little bit weird, but like not weird at all for Naruto for being entirely real, because essentially the Uzumaki clan was founded in a village called the Village Hidden in the Whirlpools, which is signified with a little swirly boy. I mean, it looks like a little whirlpool. And if you want a reference for what this little swirly symbol looks like, it's on the back of every single Jonin vest. Beyond that, it's a little piece of fanon, aka fan cannon, that the swirl in the hidden leaf logo is actually done as a form of respect to the Uzumaki clan to show the ties that they have in Konoha. Because like what leaf swirls? And also, if you're gonna kiss the ass of any group of people, you know, maybe kiss the ass of the people out there who can literally solo bind tailed beasts. But a little piece of knowledge that isn't fan canon is that in order to strengthen the bonds between the already related Uzumaki and Senju clans, Mito Uzumaki and Hashirama Senju got married, thus solidifying the relationship between the two clans, and permanently, at least what they thought, setting the foundation for an Uzumaki presence in Konoha. But why was Hashirama and all of the Senju clan in Konoha so anxious to make sure the connection with the Uzumakis was as strong and well-founded as possible? Because the Uzumaki were terrifying. You know how essentially to be like a good Uchiha, you have to know how to do fireball jutsu? To be a good Uzumaki, you had to be able to use adamantite chains, what we see Kushina and Karin use in order to bind tailed beasts. This ability allows an Uzumaki to shoot chains made of the strongest material in the Naruto verse out of their back in order to wrap up tail beasts and suppress their chakra. And if you thought that was crazy, they also made the little known jutsu called the Death Reaper seal. Oh, you know, that little cute jutsu that summons a god of death to pull a soul out of someone you dislike so you can pull that soul into your body and enter a limbo plane for the rest of eternity where you two can duke it out. Yeah, they made that. They were like, what if this existed just in case the chains don't work, you know? My thing is though, like, how did they make it, right? Like, how do they know it killed somebody? Like, did they just have like, hey, we have an idea about a sealing jutsu, like, I don't think it's gonna kill you, Paul, but we are gonna have you try it because they didn't like Paul, you know? Or because Uzumakis have enhanced lifespans, a little other canon thing we're gonna talk about here. If a pure-blooded Uzumaki completes a Reaper Death Seal, do they actually not die? Does it just shorten their lifespan to that of a relatively regular person? Because we know Uzumakis have an enhanced longevity of life, considering the fact that Mito Uzumaki was able to live through the Hokage-ship of the first, second, and third Hokages. We know this because when she was elderly, she passed Kurama down to Kushina. Which brings us to another really fun point. Full-blooded Uzumakis, if they have a Jinchuriki extracted from them, I mean a tailed beast extracted from them, they don't die immediately. No, they actually go on to live for years. Mito Uzumaki lived at the prime age of over 100 after getting Kurama taken out of her for 10 or so years. And who knows how long Kushina would have made it if she didn't become a donut. But you want to know the scariest part about the Uzumakis? There is a temple built on the outskirts of Konoha that Hashirama Senju had made and subsequently filled with masks that, when put on, invoke the Death Reaper seal without hand signs, without the requisite knowledge to do so. He did this in case the village fell on a dangerous situation where multiple people needed to invoke the Death Reaper seal in order to suck the souls out of their enemies. It is the last vestige of Uzumaki influence in Konoha, and it's fallen into a decrepit state. But the masks are still there, intact. But the true scariest thing about them is their insane amount of chakra. It's why they live so long. They have an almost limitless well of chakra that allows them to fight for days on end. Karin, when bit by Tsunade, is able to refill all of the chakra in her Byakuya seal, or 100 healing seal, and that is enough chakra to revive her 100 times. Sure, Karin passes out, but Tsunade had to store that chakra little by little for years. So how on earth would a clan this powerful with backing from Konoha possibly die out? And you know, it's in the title. It was they got massacred. But by who and why? The by who bit is actually very, very interesting because the Uzumaki clan got massacred by 4 of the 5 great ninja villages. The Stone, Mist, Sand, and Cloud all teamed up in order to kill the Uzumakis. This is before the first great ninja war. These countries did not like each other. And yet, in one of the only 2 times that more than 2 villages team up, outside the other one being the 4th great ninja war, 4 villages come together, put their bad blood aside in order to eradicate what they see as the biggest threat to their existence. And it was simply because one Uzumaki can catch whatever tailed beast they want to. Think about it. A weakened Kushina, after getting Kurama extracted from her, was able to hold Kurama. And Kurama's the strongest tailed beast. I know she didn't hold him like, that well, because he still got his finger in there, but still, Ashina Uzumaki, the founder of the clan, could seal a tailed beast away with a couple of hand signs. But that should put into perspective how powerful and how afraid the major villages were of the Uzumaki clan. They came together to fight them, and it was still close. But the question not enough people ask is, sure, the 4 villages came together to wipe out the Uzumaki clan, but why didn't Konoha help? The fight between the Uzumaki clan and the 4 great ninja villages was close. If Konoha had come to help, and Konoha being the strongest of the 5 hidden villages, they could have won. But maybe, just maybe, Konoha didn't want the Uzumakis to win. We are now departing from what is known actual canon, and we are going into my personal headcanon. My headcanon should be regular canon because it makes a lot of sense. Like I said, this happened before the first great ninja war. You know what also happened before the 4th great ninja war? Hashirama went around and caught every single tailed beast and then handed them out amongst the villages. But this happened after the Uzumaki clan massacre. In fact, it was the events of the Uzumaki clan massacre that inspired him to catch the tailed beasts and hand them out to everyone, because he figured if everyone had tailed beasts, they wouldn't be afraid of people who could bind them. A day late and a dollar short, if you ask me, but like, who's gonna complain? The Uzumakis are already gone. But what if this was Hashirama's plan all along? The Uzumakis are no longer around, which leaves one person on Earth who can seal tailed beasts. Hashirama's wood style is well known in its abilities to be able to seal all kinds of tailed beasts. His gates hold down the 10 tails. So in a world where there's 9 of the most powerful things you've ever seen running around, and there's only one person who can catch them if they get away, wouldn't you want that person on your side? Wouldn't having that person run your village make your village exponentially more powerful? Wouldn't you be indebted to that person if they went out of their way to catch those 9 things, and even go as far as to give you some of them? Yes, was Hashirama married to Mito Uzumaki? Absolutely. But that helped solidify this theory, because now the Uzumaki bloodline is being controlled in Konoha, and there is no extraneous Uzumakis in the village hidden in the whirlpools who could plot against Konoha or even begin sealing tailed beasts on their own. No, now instead, the Uzumakis simply act as Jinchurikis for the tail beasts in Konoha. Combine the fact that they're a perfect vessel for tail beasts with their already limitless chakra, and not only have you now become the only person who can seal tail beasts, you now have a bloodline of the world's strongest Jinchurikis, a bloodline that can no longer be tapped by the other villages. Unless we talk about the fact that Gaara is also an Uzumaki, which you can find right here. This is the only way I can justify Hashirama, who is married to an Uzumaki, not backing up the village hidden in the waterfalls. You could say he was looking to keep the peace, and that's why he distributed the tail beast in the first place, but there was a deep lineage and they were relatives. They were married. It was a powerful bond. And we know Naruto's all about bonds. Probably spent more time on my theory than I did on explaining the clan massacre, but I get excited about things, I'm sorry. But if you enjoyed either the explanation of the massacre or my theory, go ahead and like this video, subscribe to the page, and hit that noti bell. I did it in the right order this time because I like getting excited about anime things, and I hope you like getting excited about watching me getting excited about anime things. Do I think Hashirama had enough like hate in his heart to pull off this plan? No, not really. But hey, Tobirama was right there behind him.